Yeah, gents, greetings from the left side of the Atlantic. Okay, so it's rugby. Last game's over. Everyone's asking about, what's happened. But looking forward, as you said, you've got a lot going on here. Next week, you've got the Cheetahs and Curry Cup. You've got the Champions Cup coming up in April. You've still got URC. You've got to keep that going there. At some point, Jake, is it up to the veterans to play a role here too? I mean, you've got some deep names there, a lot of experience, a lot of Springbok caps. You've got Bismarck, you've got Mornay, you've got Cornell Hendricks with a lot of time under his belt. Do they play a role in helping overcome this? Because you could see at the end of the game that Ruan Nortkia, when he was interviewed, was really down about the result tonight. It's got to be difficult, and that's not on him. So my question is, do the veterans need to step up and help these other guys, get past this game? That's over. Let's move on to the next game.
Yes, I think that's part of it. I think the one thing we don't want is just to think that you move on and there's no reflection of how it was. And that's my point I was saying to you earlier, Chris, is that as the guy who heads up the rugby program, I've got to look and see what's working and what's not working. I can't always pass the blame to players and obviously to coaches that are around me. And I'm reinforcing the decisions I've made, having looked back. Should I have played the same team? But I just felt, Christmas playing the Stormers, New Year playing Durban against the Sharks, full strength team, then going to Leon, then coming back, then going to Exeter. I genuinely thought that we needed to refresh people. I genuinely thought bringing in some seniors and juniors, to answer your question, and getting that balance right would work. And it does work. I mean, it does work. If you look what the Stormers have done tonight with Clayton Blomaty's playing at fullback, with the inexperienced wingers against him, bringing in a guy who was at school last year, Sherwood came on. So having seniors and juniors does work. In our case, it hasn't worked. And I suppose what I'm saying, Chris, we'll have to reflect and see what it is. But, everyone's going to have to be part of it. I don't think it's just the veteran players. I don't think it's just the senior players. It's the coaches. It's the young guys who are part of this now as well. It's a collective thing about understanding where we want to be and where we are. And the one thing I've always said since I've been coaching anywhere is you're either winning or you're learning. And this is a learning thing for us as well. You're not always going to not always going to get the high road. Sometimes you're going to get the low road as well. So, I hope I've answered your question, Chris. It's a collective for everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jake. This was for Edgar. Edgar, at this game, if you look at this objectively, whether you're a Province or a Bulls fan, supporter, if you look at this game, it was a seesaw game, back and forth. They jumped out in front of you 10 points, but the Bulls held in there. They came back and they took control of the game for a bit. It got away from you late. Is there a point in the game when you were feeling pretty good about their performance, or it kind of got away from you, or something that maybe that stood out that you guys could focus on for the next one?
No, I think Chris was to come back from being behind to come forward to 33-25 at a time, if I'm correct. To be that at that point in the game, I thought that we could really come back and make a big difference going forward. And unfortunately, the game slipped from us towards the end, where we couldn't convert opportunities in the red zone in the last couple of minutes of the game.
Well, thank you very much, Edgar. Gentlemen, it'll come right. Hang in there. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.